the hell have I gotten myself into? Groamies, how are you doing, everybody? Make some noise! Yeah! You are here! Supporting live local comedy, also music later, and God, thank God you guys are here because I've been in kind of a slump lately. I have not done a lot of comedy because of my last comedy show. You see, the last time I performed comedy, I performed 7 minutes of stand-up comedy at a baby shower.
The fuck?
Let me go through, step by step, what happened. I was approached by a friend of mine who said, my buddy wants to have comedy at his baby shower, and I'll give you some money for it. And I'm like, fantastic, let's do it. I didn't hear anything until about 2 days beforehand, and I texted him and I said, so is this still going on? And he's like, yeah, all you need to do is come to the Lutheran church downtown to perform your stand-up comedy. When I arrived at the church, I walk in and find out that it is a beer-themed baby shower
That's a great idea.
at a Lutheran church with a half hour of stand-up comedy in the middle of it. I'm sorry, I'm not starting with a joke. This is just what happened, everybody. I walk in, there are beer mug balloons, a full spread of all kinds of beers that you could think of, and then we got party favors. Oh, did we get party favors? I have in my pocket the greatest thing I've ever been given for doing stand-up comedy. It is a bottle opener in the shape of a baby bottle with the words "Poppin' Bottles" etched onto it. The only joke I have been able to come up with since I was at this show about a month ago was the fact that a beer-themed baby shower sounds like something you would hear as a defense in a Judge Judy trial. Of course I left his ass. Look what he made me do for a baby shower. Oh my God, guys. Alright, I need to see if you guys are a cool audience or not. Alright? I want to see if you guys are with it or not. You may have heard recently that down in Florida there are meth alligators. And what I mean by that is people are flushing their drugs a lot. So much so that the alligators in Florida are eating the flushed drugs and becoming addicted to them. Specifically, they are meth alligators. Now, how did we find out about this information? Well, it was brought up by various police departments within Florida who said, do not flush your drugs because you are making methed up alligators. I call bullshit because it came from a police officer. I'm 98% sure that they just told you that because flushing drugs is that effective. You can get rid of drugs very easily by flushing them, and now they're using scare tactics to make you stop flushing your drugs. Either the cops are shady or there are meth alligators. I will let you decide, America. Oh, good God. I went and got an oil change this week. This coincides with the baby shower thing because it was also very weird. I went and got an oil change, and I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for my car to get done, you know, watching TV, and they've got Fox News, and they're making macaroni pictures of Trump or whatever the fuck it is they do. And as I'm sitting there, the mechanic comes in, and he says, John, your car's finished, and here, we thought we'd give you some suckers for your young ones. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, we noticed you had kids, so the guys in the shop, we thought it'd be fun to give you some candy from our, community candy dish, so, you could give it to your young ones. Thought it'd be great. And I said, thanks, and walked out of there with my candy. The reason that this was such an odd interaction is because I do not have children. So I got into my car, I sit down, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks when I looked into my passenger seat and I realized that there was a half-open bag of Pop Rocks, a silly putty egg, and a 100-count bike puzzle, all for me! Meaning that I don't have kids, but I live like I do, which is worse! I'm not even a proper adult. I turned 32 years old this year, right before the summer. And then in the middle of summer, I got to watch Stranger Things. Anyone watch Stranger Things this summer? It was spectacular, fantastic show. As I'm watching Stranger Things, I realized that I, at 32 years old, have reached my final form. I have become the adult that helps out kids in 80s movies. Like, you could picture me hanging out with a group of teenagers, and you'd have questions, but you'd understand. Like, you can imagine a scene where they knock on the door of my parents' house, and they have to let the kids down into the basement, and then I explain to them something about Greek mythology that helps them beat the bad guys. It's the only human thing I could come up with. But yeah, I'm 32 years old. Barely an adult. I'm like a 387-month infant at this point. Do the math, it's close. Speaking of kids, have you ever been staring at a kid?
Weird time to pause.
You ever been staring at a kid and you think to yourself, they've got teeth under their teeth, and you get really creeped out? Happens to me all the time. You ever been at a comedy show in the back of a record store and a guy just says in the middle of the set, you ever been staring at a kid and you get really creeped out? You're fucking welcome! If nothing else, that's why I'm here. God, this is such a weird set, and it's because I'm really high right now. I'll be completely 100% honest, guys. I got high on the way here. Probably shouldn't have done that because I didn't even get the good kind of high. Like when I got here and put my car into park, I just adjusted the passenger seat. I completely missed. It's ridiculous. But recently I was listening to a video game podcast because I look like this, and got through the podcast, and at the end they put in a little commercial for the next week's episode, in which they were going to be talking about Alexei Pajitnov. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's the guy who created Tetris. And he created the game Tetris in the Soviet Union at a time where if you made something in the Soviet Union, it was theirs. You did not have control of it anymore. So what they were talking about was the story about how Alexei Pajitnov managed to smuggle Tetris out of the USSR and to America, where he could make millions of dollars off of it. And I was listening to this video game podcast while really stoned because I look like this, and when I heard that he smuggled Tetris out of a country, I'm like, did he do it in his ass? Like brick by brick? Was he like the rest of us praying for a long piece and never got one? It was all just squares? Brave man. I was told recently that I look like escape room people. Which is bullshit. Because that guy doesn't even know where I work. That's right, I work in an escape room, everybody! Yeah, I work in an escape room in Toledo, Ohio. If you go there and mention my name, they will make fun of you for knowing me. So don't say anything. But yeah, I work at an escape room, and when people talk about escape rooms, they like to bring up that there was a movie that came out earlier this year. It was about people that get locked in $1 million escape room, and if they don't get out, they die. And Hollywood, in its infinite wisdom, decided to call this movie Escape Room. Fantastic job, guys. So, Escape Room is a bunch of people locked in a room. If they get out, they get $1 million. If they don't, they die. For instance, in the movie, in the trailer, I should say, there is a shot of a guy that pulls out his cell phone to answer a puzzle, to look up something online. And when he pulls out his cell phone, he gets set on fire and dies. And this movie is billed as a horror film. And I understand that, but me, as a manager of an escape room, that's nothing but wish fulfillment. Do you realize how many times I wanted to set someone on fire because they think the way to open up a lock is to hit it with their shoe? Too many times I just got a text from one of my employees that said that she had to stop someone from using a vape in the room because it wasn't a vape, it was a USB that they found. God. So I'm looking at a movie where people get set on fire in escape rooms and I'm like, this is amazing! I shouldn't be allowed to watch that in a normal movie theater. I should have to watch it in like a black booth where I sit by myself and put a quarter into a machine to get every 5 minutes going. If you don't get that punchline, I apologize, because that means that you've never masturbated in an adult bookstore, or as I like to call it, taking my dick on a staycation. Alright, so, what other stuff do we have? Oh my goodness, this is a great show. I'm very happy you guys are here. I know a lot of comics like to come on stage and talk about pornography, so I'm going to too. Specifically, I found the most porn thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't even come up with a description for it. I found out that there's a subgenre of porn called audible cum videos. Specifically, they are videos where the male member is mic'd so that you can hear the full sound of a climax, and it is warranted an entire series of films about it. And that is beyond ridiculous. I already have enough anxieties about having sex. Now I have to worry that it makes a funny fucking noise? That's ridiculous. Good luck I even sleep with a woman. Now I have to worry that when I come it makes the sonic ring sound. Fuck that. That's ridiculous. By the way, if anyone's curious as to what it sounds like, it's like they mixed a Skrillex beat drop with the sound of someone stepping on a banana. It is not appealing in the least. I don't get it whatsoever. Oh my god. I'm scared to drink LaCroix! Because it's basically just ghost soda. Think about it. LaCroix sparkling water, it's like you're being haunted by the spirit of raspberries! Or pamplemousse, whatever the fuck that is. It's like, it sounds like a 15th century Danish king. Of course you're gonna be haunted by it! Proper response, that was a newer joke. It did not go well. Not go well at all. Which makes me a little bit weary because I'm gonna end tonight on another newer joke. Specifically, this is a joke I've told a couple times, and every time that I tell it, the audiences get depressed, which is not the way you want a joke to go. You want it to be an entertaining, lighthearted affair, but that hasn't happened the past 2 times. But I like this joke so much that I decided I was going to go back to the drawing board, fix it, come back, see if I could make it better. And so, if you don't mind, I'm going to try this joke again. Do you guys, is it alright if I try this joke?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright, so basically, the only thing that I changed in this joke is I swapped the word mom with the word wife. Okay? Let's see how this goes. So I live at home with my wife, and whenever we go out grocery shopping, my wife and I tend to buy a lot of fruit that we will bring back to our house and put in the fridge, and then forget about for a week until it's completely molded and nobody eats it and we just throw it out. It is a ridiculous waste of food. And my wife recognized this and started doing something I think is very weird. My wife will buy a lot of like oranges and clementines at the grocery store, bring them home, pre-peel them, and then put them in Ziploc bags in the fridge. Which is a really weird way of spitting in God's eye. Telling him that the gift of fruit that he gave to us wasn't wrapped properly. So what are we going to do? We are going to discard that bullshit flesh you call a peel and put that fruit in plastic in a cold box in our house in defiance of your will! But God damn it, I've been eating more fruits. It has worked! I have been eating so much more fruits! It's amazing! And I'm feeling so much better just by eating fruit. I didn't realize that the only thing blocking me from having a healthy lifestyle was packaging. That's horseshit. There is a long line of healthy eating in front of me that is blocked by a barrier of me doing this. That's ridiculous. But it's nice. I'm actually eating all of this fruit. None of it's going to waste. And I have all this energy now, and it's so nice, because I really need all this energy when I'm having sex with my wife. Because I tell you, that woman can really take it out of me. My name is Jon Ruggiero. It's been a goddamn pleasure. Thank you very much.